on my
Well,
phone.
we have a lot of jargon we like to use in astronomy, but these objects are all connected. So they're all small solar system objects. So we're all familiar with the big objects like planets and moons, but our solar system is filled with rocks of all different sizes. And if some of these pieces encounter the Earth's atmosphere, then we call them meteors, and they light up the sky.
Let's go to the meteor in Russia first. Tell us about the force this meteor entered the atmosphere with. One NASA scientist is saying it was as large as 30 Hiroshima bombs, which is just hard to wrap your brain around.
That's right. So the amount of energy for one of these events is incredible. So the energy is really related to how big the object is and how fast it's moving. And the incredible thing about these space rocks that slam into our Earth's atmosphere is really how fast they're going. So an object that's only a few meters in size can have enormous energy. It's equivalent to many, many nuclear bombs because of how fast they're moving.
Is a sonic boom always a result from a meteor coming through the atmosphere?
So all of the meteors really that enter the atmosphere are moving at what we call supersonic speed. So they're all capable of creating this shock wave, this sonic boom. But the one of yesterday was just so dramatic. So a really explosive event, incredibly high speeds, and because it was so massive, it created a very large sonic boom that was felt by so many people in Russia.
The asteroid that came so very close to Earth, how did they know that there wasn't going to be any concern that it could hit us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're constantly monitoring the sky for asteroids of all different sizes, and the bigger the asteroid is, the easier it is to find. So the object of yesterday was discovered about a year ago. So it's about 50 meters across. So picture a CFL football field, it's about half that size. And so this object is large enough that we can detect it with our current techniques. And so an observatory in Spain found it about 1 year ago, and in the interim, people have been monitoring it. And the more we monitor, the better we can determine its orbit. And with this particular object, we knew a long time ago, essentially immediately after it was found, that it posed no risk to the Earth. So even though it passed really close by, only about 10% of the distance to the moon from Earth, it posed absolutely no threat.
So let me understand, does that mean that you can detect if an asteroid is coming close to the Earth, but not necessarily a meteorite?
Well, a meteor is really just an asteroid that hits the Earth's atmosphere. And so they're really the same object. So asteroids in space, they're called asteroids, and if they happen to burn up in the Earth's atmosphere, then we call it a meteor. And so the object yesterday remains an asteroid. It didn't encounter the Earth and burn up, it just passed by. And so we have asteroids of all different sizes, and the one that lit up the skies in Russia yesterday and became a meteor was much smaller than the other object we heard about from yesterday, which is about half the size of a football field, which just passed us by and did not become a meteor.
As we reported, there was a shooting star in the San Francisco Bay Area and another spotted in Cuba this week. Is there a larger phenomenon happening that we're just not aware of?
No, in fact, meteors happen every night, and these dramatic events that get labeled fireballs, which are particularly bright meteors, are less common, but even those happen every single night. So if you're out looking at the night sky, you'll see meteors of different brightnesses, and it just so happens by coincidence that many people have observed fireball events this week, but they're happening all the time.
Professor Laura Parker, you're Assistant Professor of Physics and Astronomy at McMaster University. I wish I had pacified you in physics class. Thank you so much for this.
My pleasure.
John Duncan has stepped down as Canada's